My blood is maroon. I bleed maroon. I've been a person and a patron and a faculty member here at WT, and came to WT because I had a big brother that was here first in 1966. And what was unique about my brother and I is that we didn't come here playing in any sports. And most of the black students, especially the males, because there were very few females, you can count them on two hands, but they were mainly connected to either football or basketball. A lot of things that were not open to us at the time were, sororities and fraternities. So I just maneuvered to the places where, there were welcoming for me and got involved. I got involved with the Student Senate. There was some discrimination on the campus, some racism, some people who had never been around black people before. But I was always very open about talking about race and race relations and carried that into my classes.
She's broken barriers, which is very fortunate that we have a person like Claudia in our community, because she is accepted everywhere she goes, and she is not afraid to speak up and tell the truth, and to support, more importantly, she supports people who need someone to sort of give them a little push.
It was always, Claudia, we're used to that. We're used to that. And I was always, well, we gotta change. It doesn't have to be that way.
When she came in the late 1960s to WT, she was, very, very important in bringing about change. But I think the important thing is how well she fit in with all the other students during that time and how much they liked her. She was very active on campus. She was in student council, the first, of course, person of color on the student council. Of course, being here, first female full-time professor of color at WT, and I think that was a very important thing because African American students found it much easier to communicate with her, to talk with her.
You could just ask her anything at any given time. It's like, so, hey, what do you think about this? And well, this is what you should do. Probably been the best Providence thing I've ever done, was seeking out her advice.
It really meant a lot for a lot of people involved with law enforcement, especially, to have someone of color who was actually, teaching and being an example, a role model for students of color.
When I went into the workaday world in Amarillo, I always found myself in a spot to do something about some of the challenges that were confronting people like me. I think that's why I've been so active in the community on different boards and committees, because it's very near and dear to my heart to make sure that my grandchildren have a better life, have better opportunities. Yesterday I was talking about a poem, Mean Streets, about George Floyd.
She is an author. She writes poetry. The penguin is her symbol.
My first book came out in 1986. And so henceforth I have 15 books, 6 textbooks. This is my latest book out this year, Poetry, Prose, and Penguins, the 3rd edition. Oh, the penguins, that's another one of my joys. And it came from my grandchildren. And so since then, and this was since the 90s, I've put penguins on all my books.
One of her poems, I think is titled Living Out Loud. And that's, kind of what she's done, lived out loud.
She is a true leader in not only the African American community, but in all our community. I mean, I think it's really wonderful that this is happening now to this woman who's broken barriers, not only as a female, but as a woman of color, and who has accomplished things that other people could only dream of accomplishing.
Where a mentor has given back and given so much to the university, to me, it's just completely deserved.
She's done a lot for WT, she's done a lot for the community, she's done a lot for, everyone.
Oh, it means the world to me. To be a part of that select group means the world to me, because it means that people were listening. People actually heard me when I was here. And it's been a challenge, and I was always striving to not only make things better for me, but to make WT a better place.